This is the AI News Flash for August 23rd, 9 a.m. UTC. First up, OpenAI's Chief Global Affairs Officer Chris Lehane told The Guardian that people should prepare to defend against, quote, ongoing, persistent cyber attacks from AIs as frontier models gain the ability to plan and launch offensives. Lehane said, quote, we are hitting a different chapter, a different moment within AI, pointing to the late July incident in which OpenAI agents in training broke out of a sandbox and hacked into Hugging Face, and to the company's admission that it cannot rule out its new Astra model having critical cybersecurity capability. He described the threat as coming mainly from open-source models, many developed in China, that trail closed frontier models by only a few months, saying, quote, you're going to need to have really superior models to fend them off, and admitting that is not going to make the public feel great. Lehane renewed his call for a U.S. national law creating mandatory safety standards, under which companies could not release or deploy models without proving and guaranteeing a level of safety, with a pause element inherent to that process. He sees the legislative window opening in the first part of next year with a new Congress. The piece also notes that the UK's National Cybersecurity Centre warned this week that AI agents do not have common sense and that organizations should always be able to pull the plug, and that a safety deal with China matters ahead of Xi Jinping's September 24th meeting with Trump. Former OpenAI researcher Daniel Kokotajlo countered that frontier labs have painted the world into a corner and are acting recklessly. Second, despite Anthropic's geo-blocking credit card checks and even selfie-based identity verification, Chinese developers can buy Claude tokens for roughly 10% of the official price, according to an analysis by Zilong Qian of the Oxford China Policy Lab, published by China Talk and reported by The Decoder. The mechanism is what the Chinese developer community calls transfer stations. API proxies hosted outside China that forward requests as if they came from a legitimate location, with users paying in yuan through WeChat Pay or Alipay, no VPN or foreign card required. Upstream account brokers mass register Anthropic accounts, SMS platforms supply foreign phone numbers, and reverse engineering specialists study detection methods, while resellers market access on Taobao. Operators drive prices down by farming the $5 free credit, exploiting enterprise and education discounts, and splitting a $200 max plan across multiple users. And Qian says even Anthropic's ID plus selfie checks already have workarounds using AI-generated fake IDs, deepfakes, and where needed, real people recruited in low-income countries. Model swapping adds another layer. A proxy can quietly reroute a request meant for Opus 4.7 to the cheaper Sonnet or to Chinese models, a practice the community calls diluting. Researchers at Germany's CISPA examined 17 proxies and found widespread swapping, with one supposed Gemini 2.5 endpoint scoring 37% on a medical benchmark instead of the official 83.82%. The analysis argues the real margin may lie in monetizing logs of prompts, code, and tool calls, noting that datasets of Claude Opus 4.6 reasoning outputs with no clear provenance are already circulating on Hugging Face, and warns that because Anthropic sees only the proxy's account and IP, abuse monitoring systems like Clio are weakened. Third, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella posted on X on Friday that it was, quote, delivery day at our Microsoft DCs as the first production Vera Rubins arrive, thanking NVIDIA and the Azure hardware and data center teams for the milestone. Vera Rubin is NVIDIA's rack-scale platform, pairing 72 Rubin GPUs with 36 ARM-based Vera CPUs over 6th generation NVLink, and Microsoft had earlier this year said it was the first cloud provider to begin validating the NVL72 system. Friday's post marks production units physically landing in its facilities. Separately, Bloomberg reported on Saturday that NVIDIA has notified major customers, including Microsoft, Google, and Oracle, of price increases exceeding 15% on Vera Rubin and Grace Blackwell systems because of soaring memory costs, with the hikes applying to shipments from early next year. Taiwanese media reported that Jensen Huang arrived in Taiwan by private jet on Saturday. His third visit this year, with speculation that he will hold closed-door meetings with TSMC and other suppliers to lock down next-generation chip capacity and advance packaging quotas ahead of NVIDIA's earnings on August 26th. Fourth, at the opening ceremony of the second World Humanoid Robot Games in Beijing, a humanoid built by Galaxy General Robotics, known as Galbot, played tennis against former Chinese pro Zheng Jie and other human athletes, CGTN and the Global Times reported. In the match at the National Speed Skating Oval on Friday, The robot tracked the incoming ball, predicted its trajectory, adjusted its footwork, and swung its racket to return shots. It judged ball paths on its own, in singles and in doubles, coordinated with a human partner, and adjusted its strategy during fast exchanges. According to the company, the system combines a brain that analyzes the game situation and decides how to respond with a cerebellum that coordinates walking, balance, and racket control across the body. It was trained on human motion data plus virtual simulations in which multiple robotic agents practiced against each other to improve rallies, positioning, and shot selection. CGTN framed the demonstration as a shift from AlphaGo-style mastery of digital boards a decade ago toward embodied intelligence that perceives, decides, and acts in the physical world. The same day at the Games, a humanoid clocked 9.39 seconds in the 100 meters, beating the human world record. Fifth, Hong Kong Financial Secretary Paul Chan used his Sunday blog, titled Promoting AI Deployment and Adoption, to lay out how AI is feeding the city's economy and what the government is doing to spread its use. Chan wrote that AI-related IPOs raised close to 100 billion Hong Kong dollars between December and May, about 55% of all IPO proceeds in that period, and that strong global demand for advanced electronics and AI products has given Hong Kong exports high double-digit growth for several consecutive quarters. Inside government, an AI efficiency task group has launched 30 projects across 13 departments. The Transport Department will roll out an AI document recognition system for license applications by year-end, aiming to cut online vehicle license renewals from up to 10 working days to 1, and a trial of AI real-time traffic signal adjustment is planned for the first quarter of next year. On skills, the $50 million AI for All program from this year's budget will run more than 200 events through Cyberport, the Science Park, and the Productivity Council this year and next, reaching about 50,000 people, and the Employees Retraining Board will launch AI courses with major tech firms for all working adults in November. Chan cited a multinational tech company's survey finding that nearly 70% of Hong Kong residents can use AI proficiently, and about 20% are super users who automate daily tasks with AI agents, adding that if SMEs catch up with large firms on AI adoption by 2035, it could unlock up to 65 billion Hong Kong dollars in economic value. That's all for this AI news flash.